Well, it's finally over. Marvel's dead. It's actually probably been dead or dying for a long period of time. I mean, after Endgame, to be fair, who was really paying attention any longer? At least close attention. You didn't have the massive numbers outside of Spider-Man No Way Home, which arguably is a Sony collaboration, which makes it even less Marvel than it was before. And when I say less Marvel, I mean it. They've been leaning into the A-Force for a very long time, something that, well, didn't work out very well in the comic book runs, and every single character we're getting now, as you've heard 1,000 times, is some form of a derivative that is, well, lesser than the original. They wanted to mantle up everybody and be able to move those mantles around regardless of whether or not it fit the character in any form or fashion. And so here we are. And of course, a lot of you are probably looking at this video like me saying, hey, you know, Ant-Man killed Marvel. But no, I mean, immediately that would be something that you could look at, understanding that in its second weekend, it fell nearly 70%. And those numbers are still not quite within the range that you would have expected it to plummet. I actually believed it's probably closer to 72% of a flop in the second weekend, but again, we'll never really know. $32 million is nothing to shake a stick at, and Ant-Man can certainly be proud of those numbers, but it really didn't have a lot of top-tier competition, for lack of a better way to put it, because if you look at this film overall, and you look at a film called Cocaine Bear, and you go, how are these two things competing with each other? Well, you kind of have to come to the realization that Ant-Man was just a bad film. Well, and Marvel overall is just becoming worse and worse as they separate, well, good characters from good stories as quickly as they possibly can by rushing to an era of comics that nobody was interested in. To be fair, all of those stories are obviously quite weighted down with agenda and narrative stuff that doesn't belong in an escapism product like Marvel, but hey, that's likely only part of the problem here. The other part of the problem, and let's just be clear about this, is definitely Marvel fatigue, or superhero fatigue, or all of it fatigue. And as I mentioned before in a previous video, you also have a financial problem in play. These films cost too much money to make, tickets are too expensive for an audience to go and watch them, and nobody's going back to see these things more than once. And to be clear, as I pointed out in a previous video right here, you're looking at a box office ticket price for the average ticket that increased by 30% between the time the first Ant-Man film came out and this most recent one. And I think it's rather telling that a rated R film in Cocaine Bear racked up $23 million in its opening weekend against the biggest, baddest bully on the block, Marvel. Now, Disney has most assuredly done a number on all of their brands. Nothing is worth what it once was. And it's not just because of oversaturation. It likely arises out of pure exhaustion on the audience's part, and a realization that there really isn't a lot there to miss. Looking forward, I don't have high hopes for anything coming out of Disney in the near future. Outside of Guardians of the Galaxy, they don't have another swing at $1 billion until they get to their next Avatar film. And if they continue to put the burden of their failure upon the audience, which is a tactic that just doesn't work and purely offends people that otherwise may have gone to try your product in the first place, well, upcoming releases could certainly be affected. And I'm not sure that I could have ever been more disgusted by any marketing campaign or trade publication promotion than I had been by any other film prior. But when it comes to something bankable at Disney, they seem to find a new way to irritate or piss off their fans. And it's quite clear to me and to many other commentators in this space that they've lost all but their most ardent of fans. And I'm not sure there's enough mouse magic left in the world to get them back. It seems that even the normies are waking up to just how bad and how message-laden all of this material has become. And I'll wrap up by saying this. I think the next quarterly earnings report is going to be quite disappointing indeed. Please feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Hit the thumbs up button if you wouldn't mind. If this is your first time here, please do subscribe. And with that, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.